Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. As of now, we completed 3 episodes of full stack application development. Now this is a separate masterclass on Java where I'm going to discuss about introduction about Java programming language and then different OOPS concepts in Java, followed by uh, for every OOPS concept, we are going to discuss about the program in Eclipse IDE, right? So let me start with the class today. Let's start with introduction to Java first. We all know that Java is a high-level object-oriented platform-independent programming language developed by James Gosling at Sun Microsystem in 1995. So I just want to highlight one point that Java is a high-level programming language and which is object-oriented. So at this moment, I just want to highlight one important point regarding programming paradigm. There are two types of programming paradigms mainly. First one is procedural oriented programming. The next one is object oriented programming. Procedural oriented programming means it will mainly focus on functions. Example, C, C++, Python, etc. Coming to object oriented programming, it will mainly focus on classes and objects. Example, C++, because C++ is both pop as well as OOP. So in short, we call it as pop, and here in short, we call it as OOP. C++ and Python. Python is both pop as well as OOP, and Java is completely object-oriented programming. So what is paradigm? Paradigm is nothing but programming style. Which kind of style you are using? Either procedure-oriented or object-oriented. So then let's talk about features of Java. First one is, of course, it is object-oriented. That is the first feature. Next one is platform independent. That means whatever the bytecode generated after compilation, we can run that bytecode on any machine using Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Next one is secure, robust. Robust in the sense like which I mean, Java can easily handle the exception gracefully, which is nothing but robust. That means it will prevent the systems from the failure. That is called as robust. Next one is portable. That means which we can, portable means which we can carry the code easily. That means Java will not convert the entire high-level language code into complete mission understandable code. Instead, it will convert the high-level language code into bytecode so that we can run that code on any mission irrespective of the operating system you are using, that is called as portable feature. And next one is multi-threading. That means each and every process will be divided into sub-processes. That means each sub-process is called as thread. So multiple threads can be accessed at a time concurrently. So that is one of the important concept in Java as part of advanced concept. Next one is distributed. There are two types of systems we have: centralized and distributed. Centralized means a single point. Distributed means multiple points. Next one is, of course, high performance, where it can be used in different applications like enterprise applications, web applications, and console, window, etc. The next part is, let's talk about JVM, JRE, and JDK. JVM. JVM is nothing but Java Virtual Mission. It is responsible for executing Java bytecode and converting it into mission code. So we just need to know what are the responsibilities of JVM clearly. The first one is it will load the class files. It verifies bytecode. It executes bytecode, and it will manage the memory, and it will be responsible for garbage collection. That is extra memory and all. JRE, Java runtime environment. Java runtime environment provides the environment required to run Java applications. So like to create React applications, we need Node.js runtime environment. So to execute or to develop Java applications, we need JRE environment in our system. I can say JRE is equals to JVM plus some extra libraries. Next one is JDK, Java Development Kit. JDK provides tools required to develop, compile, and run Java applications. So JDK is a toolkit, which is a combination of tools. I can say JDK is equals to JRE plus development tools, some other development tools required for the application development. So what will be the execution flow of Java? The Java execution flow will be first source code. The file name will be .java. And then we need to compile the program by using Javac compiler. And then bytecode will be generated if there are no errors. That means dot class will be generated. And then if you want to run that bytecode, we need JVM, Java Virtual Mission, and mission code. And then finally output. So here we mentioned that JVM is nothing but it will execute the Java bytecode and converting into mission code. Okay. That's why JVM will convert bytecode into mission code and the final output will be displayed. And I just want to highlight the portability feature again, which is very important, a note point. Instead of compiling source code, generally compilers will convert the high level language into assembler, and assembly language will be converted into mission understandable code or mission code. But in Java, instead of compiling the source code directly into hardware specific instructions or mission code, we call it as mnemonics, add, mul, like that code. Like generally we happens in C and C++. The Java compiler translates your code not into machine understandable code, instead into an intermediate code or format called as bytecode, which is a .class file. Source code means .java. Okay. So this bytecode is entirely neutral and not linked or tied with any OS operating system or to any processor. And another important point is, like as I said, it will not convert in directly into machine code. It will convert into bytecode. Bytecode to machine code conversion will be done by JVM. JVM acts as translator. Each OS has its own specific version of the JVM. So as I said, something like JVM will convert. I already mentioned, will convert bytecode into mission code, and it is mission code. It's a responsibility to execute the code by execute. It is responsibility execute the Java bytecode and converting into mission code. Finally, output will be displayed. So in short, I can say in Java, instead of converting high-level language into machine understandable code, it will convert into bytecode. It's a neutral code. It is not tied into or limited to any OS or processor. Now, let us all talk about the OOPS concepts. The very important Java OOPS concepts. I just want to highlight one important point, that object-oriented programming system, OOPS means some object-oriented programming system. Okay. Right. So the first and foremost is class. A class is a blueprint. This is a fixed textbook definition print or a template used to create objects. Class is a combination of data members. We call it as, some people will call it as attributes, or some people will call it as properties. And member functions, also called as methods. Example, student is a class. Employee is a class. In Java, generally, first letter in the class name should be capital. Product is a class. Customer is a class. Farmer is a class. User is a class. These are the different classes we have. Next one is second one, object. An object is an instance of a class, right? Object. So whenever class that contains, so what exactly object contains? Object contains state. State means variables, behavior, methods. Behavior means methods. That is properties. So if I take one object, for example, if I take S is an object of class student, then using S, we can access properties and methods of student class, right? Now we discussed about class concept and the object class concept. So let us all say a simple program now. Now let me just create a new project. Before that, I want to change the theme. Go to file, go to new, create Java project, or you can go to other also. Let's create Java master project. The compiler is Java SC software edition, or you can use JDK 25 also. I'm done. No need to click on next. Click on finish directly. I just want to create a simple package. The package should be without package also. You can just go ahead with the other. I mean, directly creating files, but some people will create packages. Let's directly create a new class. Class. Let me create class as student. So it is asking me to provide a default package. So let's create package. Package is a folder. Let's create a package. So what is package? Package in Java is called as a folder. It is a, I can say it is a container used to group related classes. So I just want to segregate the classes into one group. Classes. And if you want interfaces, what is interface and all, we'll see later clearly. Sub packages. What are the advantages we have for the packages? The first one is it avoid name clashes. That means multiple packages contain same classes with same name. And second one is access control, public, private, everything we can create. There are two types of packages. First one is built-in packages. In Java, we have to use import to import the package java.util. Class name or interface name we need to mention. If you want to load all the class and interfaces, star. Second one is user-defined packages. That means created by, this is provided by Java. Provided by Java. This is created by user. The package is a container used to. So as I said, avoid name clash instance. Two classes can have the same exact name. And there are two types of packages. One is built-in package provided by Java, where we can import that directly in your code at the beginning. And user-defined packages created by user, like com.example, demo, like that. Now let me create a simple package, com.example. Now under com.example, create new, choose a class. The class name is, so here com.example. That means if I go to, for example, folder, Eclipse workspace, Java master project, SRC, com is the main folder. Com contains sub package like this. Or if you want, you can directly create com also, or just example also. That's up to you. That's up to you. The class name is student. Com.example is a package If you want, you can create a package like this, like Java master project, src, form, example. That's up to you. Student, click on finish. Let me create a private access specifier. By default, it is private only. You can create int ID simply. Now you can see if I just put a cursor on this. Okay. If you want, you can specify as private also. So I'm just mentioning as int ID. Enough. Whatever. By default, it is private only. Within the class only, we can access string name. Let's create a method. So we created a class student which contains two properties. If we are talking about access specifiers, here specifiers, like there are mainly three variables, three types generally: public, private, protected, and there is other one called as default also, which is a new one. Public and private. The visibility of the variables and the program. System dot this out will print ID with some space plus name. Done. Student.java is a class name. That means public class student. Here, let's keep a method public static void main string args. Let's create object. Class name is student. Object name is s1. New student of. Now, let me assign a value ID is equals to 100. S1 dot name is equals to Julia. Let's just display by using display method. If I use private, we can access. And generally, method should be in public access specifier. Methods public. So we can write like this also. Now let me run this. Run as right. Like this, let me just now here also we can directly mention s1 dot id value, s1 dot name. Right. Like the same, let's just give new values. Or let's create second object. You can create multiple objects like this. Object is an instance of a class s2, s2, 101, Kiran. Let's display this by using s2 object. You can use run method also. Here, if you put this, there are three classes it is showing, or previous project also. Student is right, student. Right, done. Now, here is the point is, I mean, I'll just write directly here. The point here is like student is a class and S1 is an object, right? And another point is the object stores data and executes behavior using methods, right? Now the next one is third one. Second concept is object. The third concept is constructors. As I did, a new one added like fourth one, which is a default. So access pathways and all we can just talk about later. So remember, access types are four. I just forgot to mention, right? I mentioned number three, that's why everything. Constructor. A constructor is a special member of a class used to initialize objects. That means this the method name, that means constructor basically method with name as class name. Next, constructor will never return anything. That's why it is no return type. Third one, it is automatically invoked whenever we create object. I'll show you in the program. Next one, it is called during object creation. And the last one, constructors are not inherited. So what is inheritance and all? We can see in the next OOPS concept. Inheritance is nothing but acquiring the properties from one class to other class. So these are the different characteristics we have in the constructor. So types of constructors. The first one is default constructor, also called as non-parameterized constructor. A constructor without parameters. A constructor without parameters is called as default constructor or non-parameterized constructor. Okay. Now here, what I'll do is like, let's create another class. The class name is employee. Here, let's keep a method public. No need to mention a public because within the class, no need to specify access specifiers and all. The constructor is a special member of the class used to initialize objects. Construct is a method with the same name as class name. Employee.java. Public, no return type, void, Method name, constructor method name, same as class name. So employee, system.out.println. I just want to add one important point in student.java is here initially we didn't mention private public and let me just highlight one important point. I think I can just type here. If I just give int id, for example, int id, just int id, not required, but we are going to risk the data from external classes. Anyone can access, right? If it is, for example, private int id, it is highly recommended and data is safe. Another example, void display, not required, only classes in the same package can call this method. Public void, recommended from, you can access from anywhere in your application, So generally people will follow for data, for properties, they'll mention private, and for public, anywhere in the application we can access, like within the package, any number of classes you create, we can access from any class like that. Private means within the class. Public means within the package. So there is no return point. That's why it should not be there. So sorry for the mistake. Now here, default constructor call. Let's give a main method public class static void main. We need to create object student yes is equal to new student. So during object creation, the constructor will be called, parameterized constructor will be called. Because here, very important point, like even student, sorry, mistake. Employee MP is equals to new employee. Default constructor call. If I create second object emp1, new employee 1. Two times. So here is the explanation. Constructor executes automatically when object is created. Which constructor? Non-parameterized constructor are also called as default constructor. Let's create another class. The class name is user. Let me give private int id, private string name. Let's define a constructor. There is no return type. No return type means even void also should not be mentioned. No need to have public, right? What is the class name? User. I can give directly user like this, but we prefer for methods we give public so that it can be accessed within the package and recommended also. Methods can be accessible in your application from anywhere. There are two arguments now. First is int ID. The next one is string name. String name. Here, this ID name are the two arguments we have for this method. We have to assign it to, let's not confuse this. Let me take ID1, because if I take ID a name, you will think that property names and this argument names must be same. No need to do like that. Arguments names can be anything without matching with the property names. So this dot ID, this is a keyword. This is a keyword used to access properties and methods of same class. So you can see the description clearly. Let me just show you. This is a keyword dot. This dot ID is equals to ID1. This is a keyword this is a keyword to access. This is a keyword is used to access the properties and methods of same class. This dot name, the current property name is equals to name1. So like this, we assign the values using constructor. Now let me go with the display method. To display my ID property name1 with a space plus name. Now let me create a main method, public static void main string args. Let's create an object user. U is equals to new user. If I give new user, we need to provide the values 100. Let me provide second value as Surya. Because there is no default constructor, we have parameterized constructor with two parameters. If it is 1, we have to give 1 parameter. Let's display this by using u.display. Let's run this. Okay. Now the point here is like this, you can create multiple objects. The explanation of this output will be values are passed during object creation and assigned using this keyword. This keyword is used to access properties and methods of same class. The next one is third type. I didn't write anything here. I didn't mention the theory part of second type, sorry. Parameterized, I directly give an example. Parameterized constructor. The definition is a constructor that accepts arguments. Third type is constructor overloading. Constructor overloading means you are going to create multiple constructors with different parameter lists. Let us see that program. How to overload the constructor. Overloading means same method name with multiple types of multiple number of arguments. That means in first method we'll have 0 arguments. In second method we'll have 1 argument. In third method we'll have 2 arguments, like that. So that means same method with the multiple forms also we can say like that. So let's go to next one. Next class name is, for example, let's take it as employee student user. Let's go with customer. Customer. Let's create the first one as a first constructor as customer. Even here also, you don't need to take this public. That's up to you. Okay, just a customer. This is a default constructor where it is going to be single quotes or double quotes. We can use no arguments. And the next one is customer. Customer within tidy. Within tidy. Where one argument will be there. Next one is customer with two arguments. Int ID, string name. It is two arguments. Okay. Let's take main method public static void main string args. Let us all just create new, just a new. I'm not going to assign to any variable, any object, new. Next one is new student of one argument. Next one is new student of two arguments, 101, Surya. It is showing error because see if you see this, I can't give like this. See, you're getting error that remove the arguments to match the student. So comma KLU or Surya. Right. Int ID, new student. The first one is here S is public static void main new student. So sorry. I am let me just forget about the student first. It is customer. I'm creating multiple classes for every topic. That's the problem. If it is only one topic, so there will be no confusion. So sorry for this mistake. My apologies. Right. Now let me run this. One argument, two arguments, and three arguments. So creating multiple constructor with different arguments. And here is the one point, one explanation I want to give. Java identifies the constructor based on the arguments passed. Constructor based on the arguments passed. Right. The next one is constructor chaining. This is very important. Constructor chaining. Calling one constructor from another constructor using this method or this keyword. So let's see the program. Let's take another. Let's close all. Let's create another same file, same package. Let me create another class called as faculty. I'll create one default constructor in which this of 101 standard out.println default constructor. And now the second one. Let me define this of 101 means in this method, it is going to, generally this dot method name, right? But this of, in the sense, it will automatically search for a constructor with one argument. So faculty of one argument is int ID. System dot out of implement parameterized. Let me just put a semicolon here. Parameterize constructor. Like this, you can take a faculty of, for example, int ID comma string name. This is parameterized constructor with one parameter. And you can take two parameters also. Let me just call that weight. What I'll do is like parameterized constructor with two parameters. Here you call this of, I can call this of this one, right? This one. So 102 comma Surya. Right, semicolon. Right. If I run this, there is no main method. So this is a chain. So if you want, you can run by using, let's run public static void main string args. First one is new faculty of object creation, new faculty of default constructor will be invoked. So first C, default constructor, first faculty of means, so this of 101, that means this will be invoked. So now it will go to this of 102, it will go to this one. So first one, parameter construct with two parameters, and then it will go to previous method, parameter construct with one parameter, and then it will go to default constructor like this. So it's a good program, constructor chaining, calling one constructor from other constructor. Let us all talk about some important keywords that we have been using in Java program. Very important. Let's talk about this keyword. This keyword. This keyword refers to the current objects. That means using this keyword, we can access the current object property and current object method within the class. Example, if I take a class called as let's close all the, I'll create another package called as com.keywords, for example. Or you can take, for example, you can take simple package like you can create a simple without dot. If you create dot, sub package will be created. Simple thing. But in industries and all, people will use com.tcs, com.klu, com.techm like that. That's why I'm following the same structure. So for example, you can take just example also. That's up to you. Okay. And if you want, for example, if I remove this, delete, you can just rename into, let me just refactor. Let's give a simple example. Example is a package name. Continue. The example contains these four. Like this, let's take another one of another package called as demo. Demo is the package name. Under demo, let's create a new package, new class called as student. Okay, to demonstrate this keyword. How to discuss this? For example, int ID is there, private int ID. Let me take constructor int ID. This is a parameterized constructor, right? So whenever we create object with one parameter, then this method will be invoked. This parameter, this argument name can be anything, but ID is a property name. ID is a property name. This dot ID is the property name. Property name ID1. So ID1 value will be assigned to ID. Let's give one method. Like generally for methods, let's go with public, and for properties, let's go with private. It's a recommended. I already explained in my first class. That is student. Public, there is no return type for the constructor. Public. Public void. Let me just go to the implementation part of display. This is out. Let me print ID. Let's create main method public static void main. Let's call this keyword we already used, but I'm just displaying, using this keyword separately as a separate demo, showing you separate demo actually. We have to create object student s is equals to new student of 0. Let me give 100. That's it. So automatically parameters constructor will be invoke this one. So ID1 value will be 100. 100 is assigned to ID. So let's print that by using s.display 100. Now here is the explanation part. This dot ID refers to this dot ID refers to instance variable. Instance means object, and ID refers to local variable. Refers to local variable. This dot ID refers to instance variable. That means related to object. ID refers to the local variable. Instance variable means object variable. Let me just talk about the next keyword after this, which is static. Static keyword. Static belongs to the class rather than object. This keyword is more of like instance. That instance is object, but static is belongs to more of class than an object. Let's see one simple example. Here, let me create a class called as user. And let me write static or private static, or generally variables private static college KL University. Sorry, written type is string static. And now let's just keep a method public void display system out. Let me print college. Now public static void main string ARGS. So we discussed, as of now, we discussed about different tools concepts. The first one is class and then object, and then we were talking about the constructor, different types of constructor, default constructor, and the next one is parameters constructor. Third one is constructor chaining, and last one is constructor overloading. Now we are talking about keywords. This keyword is completed, and now the next keyword is now the next keyword is static keyword. Static keyword belongs to more of class rather than an object. So let's create user object. User u is equals to new user of, as there is no constructor, so no default constructor, so it will not be accessed. User dot display, u dot display, sorry, Yale University. So that means generally we have to assign that value using this keyword or something like that, right? So now the point here is like all objects share the same static variable, same static variable, same static variable. The next one is super keyword, super keyword. Super refers to the immediate parent class object, parent class object. That means super keyword is used to access the parent class objects in child class. Let me create a class called as animal, basic famous program animal. I'll create just a method without properties, sound this out, animal sound. We create another class called as dog. Dog is a child class which is going to extend parent class, which is animal. Animal. Now here public void display. Here also display. There it is. There it is what? Animal. Okay. Super dot. You can see we can access sound method like this. So that is what super is. So if there is no extents, for example, so you'll get error because sound is something somewhere it is defined, not in the dog class. Why we are able to access the sound method in the parent class? Because we use super method. Super is a keyword. Super is a keyword. Sorry, not method. Super is a keyword to access the parent class properties and the parent class methods. Now if I just want to run this, for example, public static void main string args. Let's create a dog. D is equals to new dog of this out d dot display. You can access the current class methods as well as parent class methods also display. So display will call sound method println. Why we need to give system.out.println? Oh, sorry, display, just display enough. So d dot display means d object will call display and display method will call parent class sound method. Perfect, right? Not every method should be called in system.out.println. Animal sound, right? Fine. Now the next one is final keyword. Final keyword. Final is used to restrict the modification. That means whenever you keep any variable as final, we can't modify that value. So example, for example, let me take example in student itself. Here, yeah. If I create private, okay, final integer, for example, age is equals to 25. I don't want to modify. So now age is equal to 30. Yeah, private age. Here age is equals to, for example, 30. That means what is happening? So there is error. Final int age is equals to 25 or 30, whatever it is. We can't change value. final method, final keyword is final is used to restrict the modification. Final int age, we can't change the value. If it is final method, we can't final method, we can't override. What is override? What is overloading? We'll discuss in the upcoming topic. And the final class, we can't inherit. Others, final classes can't be inherited from one class to the other class. Next, we have done with the first one class. First property as class, and next one is a object. Third one is constructor. Next, we talked about important keywords. And now let's talk about the fifth one, encapsulation. Class, the third OOPS concept, which is encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but it is a wrapping of data, wrapping the data and methods. Wrapping the data and methods together into a capsule, or we call it a single unit, where is a collection of or combination of data and the methods together, and restricting direct access to the data. So that is nothing but data hiding. Data encapsulation is also called as data hiding. And we already talked about the access specifiers: public, private, protected, default. So we call it as data hiding. Next one is security. Next one is better readability or maintainability. Let's see a simple program. I'll create a class called as employee. Let me remove remaining other tabs. Employee. I'll declare a variable as salary. And let me just give public void set salary into salary. Let me just we'll take salary one. Salary one is argument name. Salary is a property name. This dot salary is equals to salary one. So this is the one setter method. The getter method is public integer get salary return salary. If you don't want to type like this, the simple mechanism is you can remove this and select this property, right click on it, go to source, generate getter and the setter methods, select this salary, click on generate. Or let us also change the position. Select this method, go to source, generate getter and setter methods after salary getter or last member. So like this also we can just get getter method, or you can type manually, or you can generate like this. Let's take public static void main string gs. Let's create an employee object. Employee is equals to new employee of. Let's set the salary e dot set salary of, for example, 50,000. Let's print it by using getter method e dot get salary. Right. Let's see the output. Now the point is, I can say private data is accessed using a getter and setter methods. So here is a one important point I just want to highlight. POJO. So what is POJO? Plain old Java object. What is plain old object? It is a class which contains attributes, or some people will call it as properties, private properties, of course, along with getter and setter methods. We call them as accessors. Okay. So for every property, we need to have one set method, one get method. Set method is used to set the value using this keyword. Getter method is used to get that particular property value. Next to concept after encapsulation is inheritance. Inheritance. So what is inheritance? It is a mechanism, or it is defined as generally mechanism of acquiring the properties and behaviors. That means what? Behavior means what? Method. Behavior means method. State means properties. Behaviors. Behaviors from another class. From one class to another class. What is the advantages? For example, you've created one class A which contains 5 properties, and there is a second class. And you see some of the properties are, you created second class with some properties. You observe that both the classes contain some equal properties. So you can extend the properties from one class to other class. So we call it as code reusability. Instead of writing all properties again, you can extend them other. For example, if you take user and the student, user and student will have common properties, like example, name, gender, and all. Extra properties of student, like year, CGPA will be there in the student. Code reusability, and we can reduce the code duplication also, and better maintenance. Better maintainability. Let us all talk about the types of inheritance. The first one is single inheritance. Single inheritance, class A properties will be, class A is a parent, class B is the child. B class will acquire the properties of parent A. So parent A and child B. The next one is multi-level inheritance. Parent A, sorry, let's do the flow first of all. A tends to B and B tends to C. That means B class is going to extend from A and C class is going to extend from B. Automatically C class is going to extend from A. Here B extends from A. A is a parent. Here B extends from A. C extends from B, and automatically C extends from A. Next one is hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical, like a tree kind of structure. Hierarchical inheritance. Inheritance. A is going to, let's keep like this, like A, here B, and here C. So B extends from A and C also extends from A, right? And the next one is multiple inheritance. Multiple. Not supported through classes. So that's why we use interfaces. So let us all see a simple program on single inheritance. So what I'll do is like, I'll create one new package, a class, inheritance. Sorry, I need to create a package. Now let's create a package first. Let me remove everything. Package, new package, inheritance. Under this, let's create a new class called as animal, which contains a method called as eat. Let me not put any public, private, and all because I'm using inheritance. Let's check whether which method can be accessed from one class to other class. Okay. Eat is out. Animal is eating. Let me create another new class called as dog. Let's create a bark. This out. Dog is barking. Let me extend. Let me not extend first. Let me create a, a single, a complete alone class, which is without extending anything. Now, let us all try to create a main class. You can create main class within the what we call a dog method, but let's create separately a main class. Main. And in the main class, let's put public static void main string args to receive runtime arguments, if any. Let's create dog d is equals to new dog of d dot. D class method is bark that we can access, that everyone knows. Within the class, we can access that now. But if I want to access the animal also, animal contains what? Eat, right? So d dot eat. We're not able to access because eat method is in animal. But how come dog is going to access? We have to extends animal. Let's do one thing. Let's hard code it. Eat. So this error should be removed automatically when I add animal. Let's see. Done. Remove. So now you can see animal is eating. So the output, I mean the explanation, I can say dog inherits properties and methods. Methods also. I mean I didn't use any properties. Animal. Example, if I take properties for example, let's take string name. Okay, string name. Let me assign string name as elephant. So I can access from dog here using object t south d dot name. I can access. Let's run this elephant. So like this, we can just see the examples of remaining inheritance also multi-level and hierarchical. Next property of OOPS is method. Sorry, let's go with polymorphism. Polymorphism. It means that one action, many forms. Or some people will say one method with different types of arguments. There are two types. We have polymorphism, two types. The first type is compile time polymorphism. This one is runtime polymorphism. Compile time and runtime. So before discussing about compile time and runtime polymorphism, let us all talk about method overloading. Methods with same name but different parameter lists. Let's write the rules, some set of rules. You need to have method name must be same. If you take three methods, same name. That is first important point. Next one is parameters should be different. Next one, you need to return type alone. Can't differentiate. Return type alone can't differentiate methods. So let's just take a simple example by creating a new package called as polymorphism, separate package. Under SRC, let's create a new class, new package, polymorphism. Let's remove any spaces if any. Under polymorphism, let's create a new class called as calculator. Under calculator, let's create int add with the two arguments, int a comma int b. Okay. Return, of course, a plus b. Let's create int same method, but another set of arguments, int a comma b comma int c. If I give int a comma b, it is showing error because it's already there. Let's add third argument, then return a plus b plus c. Now double add, return type I'm changing. Double a, double means decimal points like 1.23, 1.25 like that. Double b. Return a plus b again. Semicolon. So we are talking about a program called as, we are talking about program regarding the polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism. The first one is compile time and runtime. Before going to talk about compile time and runtime, let us all talk about method overloading. Method overloading is something like same method name but different types of parameters. Let's complete the program by just keeping public static void main string args. Right. Let's create a calculator object. Calculator c is equals to new calculator of. Let's just put system out. Return method is there, but we need to print the value. C dot. First one is add with the two numbers. 10, 20. Next one is south. C dot add with three arguments, 10, 20, 30. Next one is south. C dot add of double 20.50, 30.60. It's not error, sorry, it is out. Run as our application. 10 plus 20, 30, 10 plus 20 plus 30, 60, 20.5 and 30.6 is 51.1. So I just want to highlight one important note point that compiler selects method based on number of parameters and the type also. So this type is called as compile time polymorphism. Morphism. So this type is called as poly. So method overloading is compile time polymorphism. The next one is method overloading for writing. Child class provides its own implementation of parent class. Okay. So parent class method implementation will be there in child class. What are the rules we need to follow? The first one is we should use same method name. Next one is same parameters. Next one is inheritance required. To implement this, we need inheritance and can't overwrite final methods because final methods can't be overridden. These are the very important interview question. So let us all take one example. Let's close everything. Let me create a class. Our class name is, for example, demo1. Let's create a second class, demo2. And demo2 is a parent class, sorry, child class, so extends demo1. Just remember this. Animal, dog already done, so that's why I'm taking another two classes. Now here, let's create a method called as void display system.out.println demo1 display. Simple thing. And in demo2, let's keep void display to system.out.println. Let's try it. I think in previous class we mentioned demo1, like demo2 display 2. Right. Let me just create another new main class to create for object creation purpose. Otherwise, you can create in any one of these classes also main method. That's up to you. Let's keep public static void main AirJS. Right. Let's create object demo1. Demo1 d is equals to demo1 new demo1. Now demo1 now demo1 dot demo1 dot. Let's just demo1 using demo1 object. I can access one second. There is a one point. Here it is displayed to display because overridden, right? So we need to demonstrate this concept by keeping same method in the both the classes. The point here is like I just want to focus on one important point that first let's create demo1 parent class, new demo1 now. There is a parent class object. What will happen? Parent class method can be accessed, correct? So that is demo1 dot. What is the parent class one? Display. Let's run this. Now let me create child class, demo2. So this is child class object. Demo2 dot display. Demo2 dot display means there are two displays we have. So even in first parent class is display, second one. So let's check this run as application. So now here, just it is, let me just change this one display. It is showing two. This display, it is showing both because child class can access the methods of both child class as well as parent class also. But the point is like dot display method is common in both the classes. That's why we got two outputs. So in order to print only one output, now the override came into the picture. So go to your child class, then use annotation like override, @annotation, override. Now let's see this run as application. Let's take demo. This is demo1 or demo2? Demo2 display extends override. will create like this. Let me create like this. One small change. You didn't write override here. One small change. So here the point is using child class, both parent class and both parent class as well as child class displays getting displayed. Let me create like this. Demo one. Okay. Demo one. Demo one. Let's keep it as let's create demo one with D with the new child class. What is child class? Demo two. Now let's just write D dot display, right? Now let me run this. So here we need to copy, comment this. Now check demo to display, right? Now here, let me just, if I keep at the rate override, here the point is child class display is getting displayed. So let me just use override. Now run it as Java application demo 2. And if you run this, so we created third object uh, like this demo 1D with the type as demo 2. Same. Even if you do keep also like override also, uh, like you'll get a same output. That means let me just highlight one important note point there regarding override. Override annotation is optional. So whatever the override at the rate override I used, annotation means starts with at the rate is called as annotation in Java, is completely optional. Java will still perform runtime polymorphism. Perform runtime polymorphism. So here is an important note point we used to write after the output. This is runtime decides which method to execute, whether the parent class method or scale class method. That's why this type is called as runtime polymorphism. So method overloading is compile time, method overriding is runtime. Next OOPS concept is abstraction. It hides the implementation details and shows only essential functionality. Advantages. That means, when you create a class with properties and methods, and then you create an object to access them. So this object creation, assigning values, calling that function, everything will be hidden. Only that output, the final part, the functionality will be only focused. That is called as data abstraction. Security. It reduced complexity, better maintainability. This is a common advantage in everywhere, right? Like scalable, secure, like that, maintainability. Let me just talk about abstract class. A class declared using abstract keyword is called as abstract class. Important note points, A class. You can't create object for the abstract class. You can't create object for abstract class. You can contain abstract and concrete methods. Abstract method means without implementation. Concrete method means with implementation. Let's create one simple package called as test. Let's close all these existing files. Right click on this, a class called as vehicle. Let's create this class as a abstract class. And let me create a second class as car. In this, let's put a method abstract void start. That means this is called as zero implementation, I can say, without implementation. Okay. Coming to car, public class car, the car is going to extend vehicle. So go to car, we need to implement that method, add unimplemented methods like this. Now here we need to type the implementation part, this out, car started. If you want to access that, you create a new, in the vehicle, you can create abstract void stop. Actually, you no need to, actually, this abstract keyword is replaced by the inheritance. In the inheritance class, sorry, interface, public interface vehicle, directly you write void start and void stop. You don't need to mention abstract, but we are making class as abstract without implementation. This is also second one also without implementation. And you got error because we need to implement the second one stop. So car is stopped. Car stopped. So simply you can create a new main class, public static void main. Thing args. This out. Let's create car is equals to new car of c dot start, c dot stop. I just want to highlight one point. If I take vehicle, 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 v is equals to new vehicle. It will be like this. So I just want to highlight one point that here we written you can't create object for abstract class. So we created for the child class, and in child class we implemented the methods of parent class. Child class provides the implementation. Now let's talk about interface. Interface. Interface is an interface is a blueprint of a class that defines a contract. Important or not point. We have seen abstract class, we have seen abstract method. Abstract class means a class where we can't, I mean, the class will be created using abstract method and abstract keyword. Sorry, abstract method means uh, no implementation. Concrete method means 100% implementation. Now we are talking about interface. An interface is a blueprint of a class that defines a contract. Here defines a contract means we are using an interface or an abstract class to specify what a group of related classes must do without, uh, I mean, just we are going to talk about what are the number of tasks that we are going to, methods we are going to perform, and their implementation will be there in other class. Okay. So I think say interface is also called as an abstract class. So if you keep class, if you place abstract class, that is equal to uh, interface. Abstract space class is equals to interface. The note point regarding interface. First one is, of course, we can't create objects. Can't create objects. And it supports multiple inheritance. Achieves abstraction. So let's just create one. Let me create a package called as sample and create a new interface payment. No need to put public and all, that is not needed. Let's put a method called as void pay. Okay. Public interface payment is equals to public abstract class. What I said here also we have to keep abstract. Okay. But in interface, simply just keep interface word, keyword, and void. That's it. There's a difference. Okay. In class, we have to use abstract keyword separately. Here we can use interface. Methods also we can use directly without abstract keyword. And now let's go to another class where we are going to implement payment, phone pay. The phone pay is going to implement the payment class, payment interface, sorry. You will get methods like this, like previous one. So now we have to implement the method pay. System out, system.out.println, payment successful. Right. Let's go to main class, public static void main. Let's create payment. P is equals to new payment tab. So if you create like this, all methods will be implemented like this. So we need to create payment view with the phone pay class. And now p dot, you can say pay. This is a one way. Payment successful. Or you can, if you don't want to write like this, as you know, you can't create object. So just put just p is enough. P dot pay. What is that we are getting? Initialize the variable. Okay. I think I'm not sure about this. Null point exception are getting. P is null. So we need to mention the type because P is a payment of type phone pay. So that's why we have to create object because you can't directly create object for P, right? I already mentioned for interface, we can't create object directly. Instantiation is not possible in interface. You can't directly use new keyword to create the object. So the explanation is phone pay provides implementation for the pay method. As I said, we can implement multiple inheritance, right? So let's see that. let's create an interface called as interface A. The method name is void display. Let's clear this. The next one is class, no interface B, void here display A, and here void display B. Let's create another class where this class is going to implements from both the classes. That is a multiple inheritance, right? Multiple inheritance class demo. Actually, demo is not there in this package. So demo implements from both A and B. So let's go to demo, implement all the methods, both A methods and B methods. So let's write this out. This is nothing but from interface A, and this is nothing but interface B. Right, done. Now let us all create a new class called as main is already there, right? Let's go to test public static void main. Yes. Let's create a object for, you can create like this also new demo. B is equals to new demo, and now a dot display A. You can do like this. Interface B. Sorry, here it is BB and this is A. We need to be careful in writing. A dot display, so B dot display B. Let me just create like this demo D is equals to new demo D dot display A. Let's comment this and D dot display B. Like this also you can create. Perfect. So it means that a class can implement multiple a class can implement multiple interfaces. This is important. So here is the one important point. Let's talk about abstract class versus inheritance. In abstract class, the point is abstract methods will be there. That means without implementation, concrete methods will be there with implementation. Next point, it is a more of single inheritance, right? And constructor is allowed in abstract class because it's a class basically. Coming to interface, abstract method only. That means only without implementation methods will be there. And multiple inheritance can be implemented using this. And we can't allow constructor. Constructor can't be created. Very important introduction. Not allowed. Let's go to exception handling. Next concept. It handles runtime errors, not compile time. Error is not exception. Runtime errors are exception and maintains the, even though runtime errors exist, still the execution will not be stopped. So it will terminate the, it will not stop the the execution flow of the code. It will still continue the flow, execution flow. So there are two types of exceptions. First one is checked exception. Example, checked during compile time. Example, IO exception. Next one is SQL exception. Check during compile time. Second one is unchecked exception. Occurs during runtime. Example, arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, and array index out of bound exception, like that. The flow will be like this. We have try block, we have throw, catch block, finally. Try like execute the code, the main logic. The main logic will be there here. Throw the exception. It will be used mainly for user-defined exceptions, because predefined exceptions will be thrown automatically. Catch is used to handle the exception. That means what we need to do. Either we need to print or proceed with another logic like that. Finally, will be executed always, whether exception occurs or not, right? Let me just create a new package. So you can't create a package name. I mean, you can't use keywords while creating package. Go to new, choose a package. Exception. Demo. So let's create a simple example demo D capital. Now here, let's keep public static void main. String args. Let me take int result is equals to 10 by 10. Let's keep this in try block because we are using exceptions and all runtime exceptions. Try. Now let's put catch. Catch of exception E. Exception is the base class. Under that, we have arithmetic exception. All the remaining sub exceptions will be there. I don't want to take all exceptions. Let me take only specific exception, which is arithmetic exception. And let's handle the exception by printing system out dot println exception handle. That is done by which block? Catch block. Finally means always it will be executed with whether exception occurs or not. Finally, always executed. Let's see. Here, we'll print the result value. Denominator is not 0. Denominator is not 0. So catch will not be executed because exception not occurred. Finally, will be always executed. So 10 by 10, 1, and finally will be executed. If the denominator is 0, Result will be infinity, of course, undefined divided by 0. So exception handled, finally executed. Right. Now, let me just talk about throws. Throw example, throw new arithmetic exception of invalid age, like that. You can generally, if you want to prefer the message response in your own words that we can create. Generally, people will use, if you want to customize your exceptions, then you will use throw. We have like use it to explicitly throw as per the user requirement. Explicitly throw an exception. We have throws also. For example, void read file, one method throws throws is like we can use throws IO exception like this. That means it delegates exception handling responsibility to caller. That means throw. That means throw means I can just throw here, throw new arithmetic exception of 1 second. Here we can directly use throws. I can just use arithmetic exception directly like this, comma, IO exception like this. We can use directly mention. Now there are three important keywords, which is very important for interview also, which is final, finally, finalize. Final keyword used to restrict the modification. We already discussed. That means once it is declared, we can't modify the value. It's like a constant. Finally, uses in the exception handling. Always executes after try catch block. Finalize means it is called by garbage collector to destroy or delete the objects before destroying the object. Called by finalize before going to destroy the object, it will be called by the call. So that means another important point is finalize is deprecated. It is outdated and should not be used in modern Java applications. So finalize. Final means it's like a constant. Once it is defined, we can't modify the value. Finally is like an exception handling, always executes even exception occurs or not. Next one is finalize method called by garbage collector, which is GC. I can simply say garbage collector means, I'll write one point here because we discussed about Java features at the beginning, right? GC, garbage collector. It is an automatic background program background program in Java that manages your computer memory, right? What it'll do is like it'll find the unused space and it'll free up the space and it'll prevent from the crashes and all. Uh, I want to highlight some Java 8 features also, which you want to focus because in interviews, everyone is asking about Java 8 features only. So please focus on this Java 8 features. So let me just list out them. First one is default methods in inheritance. Sense. Like we talked about public private protected, right? The fourth one is default method. So the next one is static methods interface. We talked about abstract methods, now it is static method. And the next one is functional interface, functional interface. And the next one is lambda expression, lambda expression, lambda expression. Lambda expression is, let me just discuss about small example. Like if I take a calculator class C is equals to, there are two parameters, A comma B arguments, and we have arrow mark like this and the implementation. So lambda expression is also called as anonymous function or arrow function, right? Used in JavaScript. Lambda expression provides implementation of without creating a separate class. The default, and we have a optional class. Let's write here after lambda optional class. We have a datetime API, stream API, like this. We have multiple Java 8 pages. I want you to look into Java 8 pages because people are asking about, first they're asking about Java, and then all Java OOPS concepts, and then they're asking about the Java 8 features. So finally, I can say if I just want to talk about some important interview questions, class versus object, of course, encapsulation versus abstraction, overloading versus overriding, abstract class versus interface, checked versus unchecked exception, JVM, JRE, JDK, this keyword and the super keyword, finally, finalize, and why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java, why functional interface are used. So these are the main important, interview questions. We discussed a lot of keywords, everything and all in depth. So I'm just focusing on the main important question like class versus object, encapsulation, abstract class interface, why multiple inheritance. This is a very important question, like why multiple inheritance is not supported because ambiguity problem. Due to ambiguity problem, it is not supported. That's why we have to use the interfaces. Functional interfaces, I discussed in the like Java 8 features. In Java 8 features, we have function interface in the sense, I'll write one point here for reference. An interface, containing exactly one abstract method that is called as functional interface. Okay. And the default method in the sense allows interfaces to contain method implementation. Yeah, that means I'll show you an example. We have any interface actually? Let me just check with the interface if any we have. Yeah, here, if I just want to write the implementation, you can use default keyword to write the implementation in the interface also, like this. This out demo. If it is, for example, if I remove this, you can't write the implementation. So if you use default, like you can use. So finally, this is a complete Java, what we call masterclass, where I cover all kind of OOPS concept with keywords, with the demo step of each class. The final summary of the today's Java masterclass is, so we discussed about Java introduction, and we discussed about JVM, JRE, JDK. We discussed about class and object first OOPS concept, and we discussed about constructor and its types in depth, which is default constructor, parameterized constructor overloading, constructor chaining. And next one, we discussed about this keyword, static keyword, super keyword, final keyword. Next OOPS concept we discussed is encapsulation. Next OOPS concept we discussed is inheritance. Next OOPS concept we discussed is polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism we have. One is overloading and one is overriding. Overloading is compile time. Overriding is runtime. Next OOPS concept is abstraction, hiding the background details, showing the only important part. Next one is abstract class. Next one is interface. Next one is multiple inheritance using interface. Next one we discussed about exception handling. Next difference between types of exceptions, checked and unchecked exceptions. Next one is try block, catch block. Finally, and the next one is throws. Final versus finally versus finalize. Finalize is what we call deprecated or outdated. Java it features. And finally, we discussed about some interview questions. Java is very important for the interview because before Spring Boot, we need to have strong foundation in Java. So these topics will be giving you a complete foundation for Java, OOPS, exception handling, and Java 8 features, and followed by collection framework, JDBC, Hibernate, and Spring Boot. So this is very useful for your full stack application development also. Thank you so much for your support. Please, if you like these contents, please like, share, comment, and I request you to share this channel with your friends and family, and please uh, follow the Instagram channel Web Sadhana Samyoga and subscribe to YouTube channel for more updates. So if you give more support, then only I can just do all these videos like this. Thank you so much, and bye bye.